We just want to enjoy life.
That's a community partner that's calling me.
Okay. So. In the Zone is a show hosted by Barbara J. Berger iZone that highlights the stories of different creatives and innovators in the University of Rochester community. We highlight their stories, their struggles, and their successes in the hopes that you are inspired to start the next venture. Today, we're joined by Suzan and Casey, who are part of the Kenwood Kaboom project. The project includes members from 540 West Main, iZone, and the 19th Ward Association, who won the Kaboom Play Everywhere grant, which aims to end all play disparity in the nation. The project is going to be completed by August 1st, and we're excited to have this interview. Enjoy the episode. Welcome back to another episode of In the Zone, where I'm joined by Suzan and Casey. Would you like to introduce yourselves?
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm Suzan. I'm an E5 student at the University of Rochester. I'm happy to be here today.
And I am Casey. I am also an E5 student here at the University of Rochester, and we both work at iZone.
And I work at iZone too. My name is Nixon Chege, and I'm a design thinking fellow. Let's jump straight into the questions. So for someone who doesn't know about the Kaboom Playspace project, how would you describe it?
So the Kaboom Playspace project is an initiative between 540 West Main, which is an anti-racist foundation here in Rochester, and the University of Rochester's iZone, as well as the 19th Ward and a few community organizations in the 19th Ward. And we've all been working together to co-create a sensory garden play space. And a sensory garden play space is a space that really allows a user to explore through the senses, a journey through the senses. And it is really centered around accessibility and equitable play for all.
That's beautiful. How did you get started?
So in 2020, 540 West Main, iZone, and the 19th Ward Community Foundation, the 19th Ward Community Association applied for a Play Everywhere design grant from the Kaboom Foundation. And we were awarded $27,000 to build a play space in the 19th Ward of Rochester. So it started off with Deniz Cengiz, who just recently graduated from the university, and she kicked it off by starting and just basically making the community connections, and really started us off really strong with principles of community engagement and really working together within the community.
That's beautiful. And to you, Casey, how would you define play inequality?
Yes, so the Kaboom Foundation has been around for over 25 years, and its whole mission is to combat play inequity that exists here in the U.S. Mm-hmm. So for certain communities around the country, those who are typically of people of color, of low socioeconomic background, and specifically in areas where redlining and segregation has happened, those communities have been divested or disinvested with money, so they don't have these public, free play spaces where children can go and enjoy themselves. So the whole point of this play space is then to build a equitable, accessible play space for children of the 19th Ward, which is right across the river here at the University of Rochester, where they can all go and enjoy themselves and explore play through the senses, as Suzan just explained. So yeah.
That's beautiful, and it sounds like a very community-centered project. And who are some of the partners that you involved in this project?
Yeah, so we've listed a few of them, one of them being iZone, as well as 540 West Main. We are also partnered with various organizations in the 19th Ward, like the Community Association, the Arnett Branch Library, the Southwest Rotary Club, the Southwest Neighborhood Service Center, and the Arnett Block Association.
Yes, we have several community partners, but then we also work with Sue Steele, who's the landscape architect who we contracted, who's also local to Rochester and has worked on other Kaboom projects, so it's a really great way to bring in professionals in their field to also bring their expertise into our project, which has been really exciting. And the ways in which we've engaged with these partners has been talking with the original core group of community partners that we worked with and just getting their feedback on who would be really great people with incredible insight to offer about the needs of the children and the wants of the children for this play space.
A really key partner of ours is School 29, which is actually right across from the lot. that's in the Arnett branch, that's in the Arnett neighborhood. And the school is an elementary through middle school.
That's so beautiful, and hearing how much you've involved the people in the community is really phenomenal. And my next question would be, walk me through your approach towards centering the community in all your work.
So community engagement is a really core principle of this project. And Casey and I both were a part of the Center for Community Engagement's capstone program. So both of us have done the capstone and learned a lot of the core principles of community engagement through the Center for Community Engagement. And I really recommend that students look into the Center for Community Engagement. It's a really wonderful place to learn. And we have really strongly centered the community in this project. We call ourselves more of like facilitators than actual creators in this project. We're really here to just facilitate work in the community so that community centers are really thriving together. And there's a lot of collective ownership within this project. So for us, we are kind of just the facilitators, we're in the background, and the community organizations and members that are coming together to create this project are really the ones that are driving and identifying needs and pain points, and that's really what we are here to see and here to make sure happens.
Yeah, and then one important thing that I think we should mention is, like Suzan had said, co-creation earlier, and so we really want the community partners to be developing this like with their own like expertise and knowledge, because they are the ones who have been living in this community for years. And even though we are a part of the community as University of Rochester students, we are here for 4 to 5 years, and so we want to make sure that the long-lasting impact of the play space extends beyond our time here as well. So the importance of co-creation comes with that, and just being able to have bilateral communication with all of the community partners as well, so that it's not only us imposing ourselves upon them, but really hearing them and being aware of like our sense of identities and place in this play space creation.
Most definitely, and it's so inspirational to hear what you've been able to achieve so far, and thinking that it's an initiative by students and involving all these community partners. It's really inspirational, and thinking that you're in your last lap, you're just about to finish and graduate. It's an amazing feeling to know that you've accomplished so much in your time here. And my question would be, now what are you guys busy with at this point in time?
Yes, so we have been working on creating an advisory board council with all of the main community partners. So it's quite a long list with all the people that Suzan and I have mentioned earlier, but we are also including parents of the School 29 Parent-Teacher Association, so they'll be also joining and giving their insight on what their children would like to have in that space. And so then we are also working with Sue Steele, the landscape architect, who has created some preliminary designs that have taken some of the feedback and insights that we've gathered through several community engaged feedback sessions that we've had over the past few months. And she came up with this beautiful rendering that was really exciting for the both of us to see. And now we're going to be presenting it to the advisory board and getting their feedback. We'll do a few iterations, running through the design thinking process, might I add. And we are then going to finally show the design to the students and to the children. And so once we get their feedback, then we'll be able to move into the construction phase. And we are hoping that this will be done August 1st. So hopefully everything will be done by then.
That's beautiful, and I'm so excited to see how it goes. And how do you think your involvement in the Kaboom project has influenced or impacted your position as a student in the University of Rochester?
Yeah, I think that being a student at the University of Rochester is a really amazing thing. You become really involved with a lot of campus activities, you do so much, you study in your classes, you might work. But a really important component to being a student here is actually becoming involved in the place that you're living in. And I think that's a really key part of my entire college experience, is realizing that yes, I'm here in Rochester to go to school, but I'm also here to contribute and be a part of the community that I'm living in. So I just think that this opportunity to get to know so closely so many members of the community has been a really, really incredible thing. And a huge part of community engagement is just relationship building. That's really what it is. You're just building relationships, you're building trust, and you're building these opportunities for collaboration. And I think that has been such an amazing thing to be a part of.
Yeah, I echo everything Suzan stated. I also think that we get really trapped on the campus bubble. And I think it's really easy to fall into that and not go beyond the boundaries of the campus or like even at Eastman downtown. And I think us being students here and like having the opportunity to develop those relationships, as Susan said, and like really get to know people is really at the core of community engagement, and like really understanding like who are the people in Rochester, and who are these Rochesterians, and how can we get to know them better and like learn from them, because we can learn from a lot of different stories and people. So I think it's been really nice to get to talk with people all the time.
And that's beautiful, and it's a challenge to everyone, even back at home. And you know, thinking that August 1st is going to launch and it's going to be this big thing, what is your vision for the playspace?
I think we really want to emphasize that the community partners feel a sense of ownership and a sense of pride and a sense of excitement about this space. You know, we don't know how it's going to look, and I think that's the whole point. We want it to be a very flexible space, one for learning, one for you know, coming together as a community, building community. And I think those are more like sentiments rather than like what does it look like physically, or what does it look like you know, exactly. I envision it as a beautiful space for people to come together and to really bond as a community. Although the community is already so strong and the sense of pride is already so strong in the neighborhood, we just really want it to be a space that centers that and centers accessibility and you know, equitable, you know, for all. And I think another really important component that we haven't mentioned yet is that School 29 has a student body where half of the students identify as having a physical or a mental disability of some sort. And I think you know, a really central component of this play space is having it be an accessible space. And so that's what we mean when we say accessible. We want it to be accessible regardless of age, regardless of ability. And I think, you know, that's something that we really want to see in this space.
Making it inclusive for everyone. And I just really hope everyone has fun. And I hope that it can bring joy to people and create that sense of wonder. And I think that's definitely a really core driving motivation, is to create a space in which children can like feel a sense of whimsy, and perhaps like even in the cold snow of the winters of Rochester, they can still feel that in this place. And so hopefully that can be created and physically embodied in it.
That's beautiful. You know, considering the sheer magnitude of this project, there's no way you cannot have challenges. What are some of the challenges that you guys faced when you're planning this project and executing it?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that there has been a challenge to really, you know, rush into a timeline. I think, you know, the grant originally allowed us 1 year to build the play space, and Kaboom has been an amazing partner so that we've been able to expand that timeline. But I think, you know, one component that we've really wanted to work around is time, because you know, all of these community partners already have their own initiatives. They're full-bodied with work and have their own projects that they're working on. Or, you know, in the sense of the school, it's just you're in the school year, you're busy all the time. And I think respecting community partners' time and giving enough time for equitable engagement is such an important principle. And we've learned that we've had to expand the time that we've been working on the engagements in order to, you know, really fully account for everyone who is a part of the project. And I think, you know, that's been a challenge, but it's also been a beautiful way of growing and growing as a project and growing as a person too, right? You don't want to rush people through a process that takes time.
Most definitely. And over to you, Casey. What do you think drives you, despite of these challenges, to keep going?
I definitely think seeing the excitement and the passion that all the community partners have is like a clear and very defined motivation for this project. We know that there are a lot of things that the community partners really want to engage in, and we feel so lucky that they want to be a part of this project and find a lot of value and a sense of pride in creating this. And so I think that's definitely like a clear motivation as to why we still are pushing forward, that we want to complete this, and that we are working together with everyone. And we all know that it's a group effort. It's not just Susan, it's not just myself, it's not just iZone. It is truly a community-led project. And so we find a lot of hope, I think, in that it's being done together.
That's beautiful. And you know, considering that I just mentioned you're going to be graduating and the path is broad and wide, and now you're going to leave this to us to continue, you know, bringing it on, and you have this legacy of this space. On a more personal note, what's your plan in the next 10 years? Where do you see yourself, each of you, in the next 10 years? What are we expecting? What are these exciting things bubbling up in your life?
Me?
I'll let you take that one first.
So I hope to work in the social impact space, at least within tech companies. I've been interning with Zoom for the past year. So that is slowly becoming a full-time position, hopefully. And I'm excited for that. I'm excited to continue doing impact-based work and working with community. So I'm looking forward to it.
That's definitely what about you.
Yeah, I really want to work in equitable and I want to work in equity-centered design, and I love the power of creation and being so creative and working with people who, you know, really understand like what to do. And I think I have a less like formulated plan with my life, but I really just want the opportunity to explore and to see a lot of things and to learn from the people that I'm around. So I think that career path will take me there, but I also hope to just travel and explore.
Wow, it's been an amazing session. Thank you so much for the honesty and transparency and being able to let us know and give us a look into what exactly happened in the project. And we can't wait to see it launch on August 1st. And all the best in your future plans, beautiful plans that you have. Hope to see you soon again when you come to visit as an alumni. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you so much.
Kaboom!